I'd like to welcome everybody to that November 5th,
And I'd like to ask our clerk, Kathy Percival,
Public
to take
Works Committee.
attendance. And Kathy, are you on mute?
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Chairperson McGraw,
Here.
Supervisor Syed,
I'm here. Good morning, everyone.
Matt Yetto,
Here.
Ismat Alam,
I'm here.
Brian Backus,
Here.
Stan Faminsky,
I am here.
Alexis Kim, Paul Briggs, Josh Hawley,
Here.
Michelle Martinelli,
I'm here.
Jessica Gerber, Rosemary Jackwith, Bill McPartlin, John Delarada, Laura Robertson. Laura, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Laura's here.
Okay. Diane Percy,
Yes, good morning. I'm here.
Janet Wynn,
Yes, I'm here. I see Paul Briggs on as well. I don't know if you got
He is here. Yeah.
who, Janet?
Paul Briggs.
Oh, okay. And Ray Smith, Pete Rekovic. Okay. And did I miss anyone?
Alexis just signed on as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
good morning.
Great. Okay, I think we're all set.
Terrific, Kathy. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Have folks had a chance to look at the minutes? Do you have any corrections, improvements, comments?
Otherwise, I'm going to make a motion to accept the minutes. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Supervisor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Opposed? The motion carries. The minutes are accepted. Moving on to water and sewer items. Matt Yetto?
Okay. Just a general update on our COVID response. We've had no cases, no issues with guys having any exposure. We are entering homes again using a new protocol that requires prior health screening or questioning of the property owners and of documentation of all that information for contact tracing. And it seems to be working well. And we're just going to continue doing what we're doing. We're trying to keep the guys separated as much as possible. And they're following the same procedure. If anyone's sick, they stay home. And they are doing their daily temperature checks and recording that information and providing it to me, which I then forward to Alexis. Item B, under the admin engineering, is just an update on the water tower evaluation that we had performed on September 22nd. The company that did the work at no cost to the town has provided a budget number. They have since provided a more detailed breakdown of cost. We don't think we'll be doing that anytime soon, but it's good for planning. So Josh and I are going to meet with the gentleman from that company in the next couple of weeks just to see what he has to offer and just for our future planning for rehab and maintenance of the tanks. Item C is just an update on the high strength waste mitigation plan. We do have that meeting scheduled for this afternoon with the residents of Whitmire Drive. I know the supervisor provided a draft of the plan. I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add.
Nope, that's all.
So that would be good to get some input from the public, and move forward on how we're going to implement it. D, Josh mentioned to me yesterday that the MS4 program that the town is currently performing, is it annual, Josh? Good housekeeping audits?
It's every 3 years is the minimum requirement. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it more frequently, but the minimum requirement is 3 years.
So if you just let us know what your plans are. All right.
Yeah, so I've had to go to each facility that's kind of, I don't want to use the word hotspot, but where we have, municipal activity. So it'd be the highway department, the water sewer garage, and both of our plants, the water and wastewater plants, to do a general good housekeeping self-audit, they call it, of those facilities related to stormwater.
Okay. Is Ray on? Is Ray on the call? No?
No.
Okay.
So Ray, I'll coordinate with you and just I'll reach out and we'll pick a time for me to just swing by, and I just have a little checklist thing that I got to do.
And you'll do the same with Ray?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Item E, we were informed by the vendor that supplies diesel fuel to the town that they are no longer going to be delivering to our water plant, our sewer plant, or any of the off-road diesel tanks that we have. So the generators at the water plant, the sewer plant, and both water pump stations have large generators that are necessary for emergency operation. And as of right now, we have no way of refueling them. So I don't know if there's any a separate state contract that would cover this, but they're stating that in the state contract it doesn't cover that type of fuel. So it's just something I don't know if highway will be affected by that, but the water and sewer department will be affected by that decision. I'll work with the comptroller's office to try to find an alternate source. Attorney's
Great,
items. Paul?
Paul, we have a attorney's
Yes.
item.
Can you hear me? I'm having trouble
Sure
hearing
can.
you.
Really?
Excuse me?
Okay, why don't you give us the attorney's items? We can hear you.
I don't think he can hear us. I think he's calling in.
Paul, we're gonna move to number 4, water and sewer maintenance, and come back to you. Matt, just move
Okay.
to water and sewer maintenance. I'll
Okay.
try to do that. I'm gonna turn myself off the camera. I'm gonna listen, okay? And I'm gonna try to deal with this.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Josh, an update on the Mohawk water main project?
Yeah, so they'll be doing the connection, the final connection down the Rosendale Road on the 12th is what that's scheduled for right now. They have about somewhere between 10 and 12 services left to connect, and then they'll be able. That's what they have to finish before they do the final connection at the bottom on the 12th. After that, it's paving. They still have to put floatable fill in the old main once it's offline, and then attract a few 20-inch valves for us. So we're getting pretty close. The 12th is definitely a milestone once they do that final connection, and the whole system, the new main will be in service and online.
Okay. And they'll pave the road following that.
And paving the road following that, then landscaping as weather permits.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Item P, we have a water and sewer worker who is finishing up his probationary period. I'd like to move forward with appointing him. I recommend that he be permanently appointed. We've been happy with his growth and I think he makes a good addition to our crew.
Hey, Matt, what is his name just for purposes of the resolution?
Dan Pawlinski.
Thank you.
Pawlinski, I think.
I'll send you
provide
the
spelling.
appointment form. I'll send the appointment form, Alexis.
Thank you. I have one item that I wanted to add to this section. Well, actually two. In Ray's meeting yesterday, he mentioned that he wants to surplus some equipment. I do have one piece of equipment, possibly two, that we would like to add to that list. One is a trailer, and one is an old GPS unit that we may try to trade in towards the purchase of a new one. I can provide all that information to Alexis to add that onto the resolution.
Yeah, and provide it maybe to Janet also, so I think it's going through finance as well, but yeah, no rush on.
Okay. And then just an update, we're working on our material bids for next year. We'll have a resolution for next month. We'll have, we're going to try to do like Highway's done in the past. We have a provision in some of the wording in the contracts that say that we can roll over the price for another year. We'll see if we can get some of those vendors to do that, and then possibly go out to bid for the remainder.
Great. That's good, Matt. Thank you. Is that it for 4?
That's it for 4.
Great.
You want to
Thank
go back
you.
and try Paul?
I think Paul is on. Do I hear Paul? Okay. I know some of the attorney's items, but I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna try this one more time. Let's go to 5, the wastewater treatment plant, always a popular item.
All right, so we had our annual plant inspection with Jamie Malcolm from DEC. Overall, he seemed to think things were going well. He did mention the mitigation plan, and I think following the meeting today, we'll have some better information to provide to him as where we stand on that. The crew from the water department and also the sewer plant worked together to rehab one of the primary clarifiers. It was a pretty large project for them down there. They were able to do that in-house without hiring a contractor. The work was performed over about a 2-week period on and off, and it's back online and things are working well.
Great.
Utility billing.
Matt, well, wait, hold on one second.
Yep.
Is Paul Briggs on?
He's frozen on my screen.
He's on, he's off, he's on. Okay.
Yep.
Yes,
There he
You're
is.
on now. Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna try to go to attorney's items right now
I'm here.
in case we lose you again. So attorney's item starts with the Myers-Hawetsky petition for a sewer extension on Whitmire Drive.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me? Yes?
Yes. Moving along to item number 6, utility billing, Matt Yetto.
Okay. So there was a question, a customer or resident contacted the town with questions on how we estimate bills. Typically, or over the last, I would say at least a decade, the process has been using the software that the water billing clerk uses. It went back 3 cycles and took an average of the last 3 cycles and created an estimate. That worked fine. Nobody had any issues with it. However, this last time a resident received an estimated bill, it was exacerbated partly by COVID, because we go and we read, which we just did again on October 5th, mid-cycle, all the water meters. And then if we see an issue, we address it when we find the issue. But because of the partial shutdown during the initial stages of the COVID response, we did not do a mid-cycle read. We couldn't get into the houses to look at the meters that had issues. So this one went on longer, and at no fault of the property owner, he didn't get we couldn't get a reading when the billing reading occurred, and he received an estimated bill. And in some cases, the spring bill and the fall bill are not always the same because people use water differently at different times of the year. He had asked if there's any way that we could do an estimate based on like cycles. So if it were a spring bill, to go back and look at an average of the last spring bills, not look at an average of the last 3 cycles, which would have included both spring and fall cycles. I asked Chris Lachinsky to work with Harris, the software company, to see if that was possible. They can do that, and she's already made changes and tested it, and it does work. So I would recommend that going forward, and even with this situation here, we do estimates based on like cycles, not on total years. And this should be less of an issue going forward anyway, because we're back to normal operations. And in the past, estimations were a result of people not getting back to the town and not letting us into the houses. So that was why it really was sort of it encouraged them to contact us and get things fixed. This time it wasn't their fault, and going forward, I think this is a more fair way of doing it. So I don't know what the committee's position is on this, but I can't hear you, Denise. I think you're muted.
Okay, I think I have it all together now.
Okay.
I have Paul Briggs on the speakerphone of my home phone held up underneath my camera here. And what I was saying is I think this is a good plan. Matt, you've done a good job. You've communicated it. You've gone round and round. You've let us all know. So I'm supportive of what you're trying to do.
Okay. So I will have Chris modify that bill to follow the new procedure, and I'll have her change how in her procedure manual how we do estimates, and then we'll go forward that way.
Terrific.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Hey, Matt, is it the estimates that you had given me for the year end, are they going to change because of that?
No, it's a very small number of properties. Yep.
Yeah, if it had a big financial impact, I would never support it right now, isn't it?
I know that.
We don't have
Thank
any
you.
money, let alone extra money, so no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to continue with this section, or do you want to go
We
back?
might as well. I think Paul Briggs has an interest in this section anyway, so.
Okay. So the next item, I mentioned we didn't do mid-cycle reads, and we would have caught this if we had done mid-cycle reads, but we had a property at the intersection of Balltown and Knott Street that is like a strip mall right there that has, I think, a hair salon and maybe a bank.
Yep.
Their meter was replaced, and when the new meter was set, there was an error made in our office where they didn't zero out the meter, or it was so that the reading on the meter was started at the wrong point. So when we went and read the bill, it looked like they had an $18,000 bill.
Right.
They contacted us. Chris looked at it and said, absolutely, that was a mistake. We went over, we checked it, and corrected the bill. So there was they were overcharged they were overcharged $18,000. However, and I know Ismat would be concerned that it would affect what the information I had given her for the budget. It didn't, though, because I did not give her information for this year, because this year was so strange because of COVID anyway.
Right.
So
And you mentioned that in the meeting that you didn't have those numbers.
yes. So
Good.
it wasn't really money that we had even counted on. It was just a missed billing. So we just need to adjust the warrant to go back to the proper amount. And so it's not going to affect us because it was money that we didn't count on, nor did we deserve. So we didn't need a resolution to make that adjustment.
Great. Thank you.
Hey, Matt, did we do that resolution last month, the correction, or is this a completely different one?
It's a different, no,
This
it's
is
a
new
different.
one.
A new
Yeah,
one?
this is a much larger amount, but it's for a totally different reason.
Oh, will you just try to send me the resolution that needs to be amended? I want to make sure we're on the same page.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And then the next item is the second quarter of 2020 corporate utility reconciliation. And then the one below that is the third quarter 2020 corporate utility warrant. Both of those, I spoke to Chris today. She's finalizing the information. Both Kathy, myself, and Chris will all look that over and make sure everything's correct prior to before the board meeting. You want to go back to legal?
I want to touch on, is there one that relates to waiving the fee on the credit cards?
I did not have that, but I can add that.
Well, what's the story with it? We owe them money, right? That we weren't planning on.
We don't. By the time we were able to get them to sign contract to change it back, it was too late, and they wouldn't change. It was already middle of the billing cycle anyway, so they wouldn't give us they wouldn't take that off of the online payment. I don't know how much it's going to be because I didn't plan on it.
Can we get a number?
I can get it from Diane. Diane, are you on?
Was there a second contract signed, Matt? Because I know the one that Yasmin signed was specifically only for that one billing cycle.
No, they're saying that there was no end to that contract that you signed. We had to actually end it.
So, Matt, if you want, if you want to give you an update when we get off the call on where you're at with that, because when negotiating that, it was really clear that we weren't going to automatically.
If you want to go back and fight with them, I would appreciate it because this is like $10,000 or something.
Because that was. Yeah, no, that
look
was
how we got Ismit's attention on some other amount, right? So,
yeah.
Why don't you go back at them and try to do that today, Alexis, and have an answer on by finance.
Okay, sounds good, Matt.
Great, thank you. Diane, you were on. Diane, are you on?
Yes, I am on.
How much is it?
I don't know the total yet.
Okay. How much was it last time?
It was close to 10 because one was 4,500 and then one was 2,700.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just guessed it a number. So, all right. Well, Alexis will have more for us tonight. Thank you very much. There we go. All right.
Thank you.
We're gonna try this one more time. Let's see if we can do it. Paul Briggs, are you there?
I am.
Okay, Paul Briggs. How about attorneys items?
Whitmire Drive. We've sent all the information out to the Whitmire residents. I've answered a number of questions that they've had concerning how that would work. We don't have any response, any yeses or nos from Whitmire. I expect that we'll hear more tonight when any of the residents appear.
Denise, we just lost you.
She's muted.
Yeah.
Okay, I
There we
am
go.
back off mute. Everybody else, if you put yourselves on mute, that would probably be great.
So we're waiting for Whitmire Drive to make their response, yes or no. We haven't had any response. I suspect that they're going to have some discussions tonight at the mitigation meeting, and we'll talk more about that. But until they respond, we're on hold until the residents decide whether or not they want to approve the extension. Pierce Road, we have 2 yeses and 1 no, but we also have 2 outside users that are automatic yeses. So we have enough yeses for that to go forward. I'm preparing the petition for the homeowners to sign. That will be ready for the December meeting. It won't be ready for the November meeting. There's no update on the city water bill. The city continues to file the necessary papers to preserve their right if they elect to go forward against the town. We've paid what we believe we owed, and there's obviously the difference. Ingersoll Home, there's no. I don't have any. I haven't heard from them. I don't know whether Matt or Josh have.
Yeah, so I'll let Josh speak to this. You're muted. You're muted, Josh.
Okay, so they did submit a building permit application for that work, which I did review the plans, and that has been approved. They do have a contractor on board. I haven't heard of them breaking ground on the project yet, but they are moving forward. So they did respond very quickly and then have been great to work with on resolving this matter. So things are progressing very nicely.
Great. Thank you to you. Thank you to the Ingersoll Home folks for being so responsive. Wonderful. Thank
Hey,
you.
Paul, you mentioned the City of Schenectady water bill. Is there any way we can push them because we're now having to slow down our water plant production again? We are going to, because of that number has been artificially lowered, that we have or increased actually what we have to buy from the city. We're at the point now where over the next few months, we're going to have to, the next couple of months, we have to slow down production. So just so we make sure we buy our minimum, because that minimum is now 40 million gallons more, or 36 million gallons more. And that's water that we can produce, so that we have to pay for it. We shouldn't have to. I think it's in their benefit to slow this down.
Okay, well, they keep saying it's yes, absolutely. We will get a meeting with them right away. Matt, you did a good job describing all of this during your budget meeting. I understand it. It is not a bargain for us. We need to revisit this entire issue with them immediately. I understand that.
I'll call their attorney today.
Okay,
Thank
Paul
you.
will call their attorney today, if we could all hear Paul.
So on Lamplighter Road, Josh, that's ready to go. The homeowner's ready to sign the agreement, but we put it on hold from the last meeting because there were some engineering concerns.
Right, and there's actually some new developments too, Paul, I can share with you. So we did meet with the homeowners, and they're considering some options to try and keep it out of the easement potentially. So we haven't seen a revised proposal from them yet. So it's possible we'll avoid even needing an easement agreement. So the ball's in their court, though. We're waiting for them to decide what they actually want to do now that they know the full extent of the constraints, and they're going to submit a drawing to us to let us know what they want to do at this point.
The last one, Matt and I are working on this with Capel with respect to the Capel paying for our fire hydrant. They've sent me a proposed MOA. Matt and I need to make some changes to that, and we're in the process of going back and forth with them on that.
Okay, great, Paul. Thank you very much. Yes?
We are going to need to go into executive session. I know we're not there yet, but just.
Okay. Okay. All right. We're moving right along. And I'm just going to ask one more time. This is a complicated thing. I literally have a phone put up to my iPhone to try to get Paul into this. If you're not speaking, can you put yourself on mute? Because there's just a ton of noise. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, Matt. 7.
Okay, so this is primarily just items from up above that we're moving down, just so that we know that it's requires a resolution. I did leave the Spectrum franchise agreement on there just because I know it's ongoing. I know there's probably not an update on that right now, but I know it does go through this committee.
Yes, no, hopefully before in December.
Yeah,
Okay.
I heard from them the other day. Matt, we also heard from Dolman about the GPS. He wants a meeting.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he wants, other than it just to know how we're doing. We've
I
got
don't know.
it.
Can you just set up the meeting? I just, can you just?
I will.
All right.
I think they want to do training, but I taught myself how to do it.
I know you did.
Oh.
All right. Will you just follow up with Dolman?
I can.
I don't
And-
need it at meeting.
An
I
update
am
on that
going to beg everybody on this call to put themselves on mute. Thank you. Matt Yetto, you'll call Dolman.
And I just an update on the GPS. We do have it installed in almost every one of our vehicles now, and it's working well. I like the system. It's very user friendly, and it does a good job of keeping track of our assets.
Great. I'm glad to hear
Let's see
that.
here.
It was a good initiative. Thank you, everybody who worked on it. Alexis, thank you, Matt.
So the rest are all just copied from up above. There's nothing to add to any of these items on the finance or board actions section.
Talk about the landfill. Go to 8 then, because
Yep. So when DEC was visiting our sewer plant, they did some touring around town on their way to the site, and they identified a couple locations that required erosion and sediment control attention, and one of those happened to be the former water and sewer garage site. We talked to Ray. I think it was even brought up at his committee. He's going to take care of cleaning up the rest of that soil that's there and getting that stabilized as quickly as possible. I know he's buried with leaves right now, but we do want to get that going, and he said that he would, so that we can get back to DEC saying that it was resolved. Some of the other issues were actually the properties on Whitmire Drive that are doing construction. The 2 houses that are there, they had some concern with that, which I think Josh can speak to. Josh and Jess went out there.
those are some construction projects on a street that's been so diminished by a wastewater treatment plant.
Yes, yeah, it's quite, they're large additions for sure. So yeah, DC, there was a lot of earthwork that happened as a result of those additions, and when DC drove by, they didn't see a lot of erosion control. It's kind of a review that we typically aren't involved in when it's an addition. So I've been working with Laura to try and come up with a way to get those into our court a little bit to make sure that if erosion sediment control is needed for those type of projects, we could have it.
Yeah. There's dirt and mud and everything all over the whole street. I mean, the street's a mess. It's more of a mess than when construction was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, it's quite a bit. So we're working with them to get erosion control installed.
Great. Thank you very much. And I'm sure they appreciate it. They don't want that kind of, their yard rolling into the street,
Right.
running into the street.
Agreed.
Okay.
Okay. So I have scheduled the annual post-closure monitoring for the landfill next week. Sterling Environmental will be on site. They'll do their annual sampling for methane and other contaminants in the wells around the former landfill. This is the second year of a 3-year contract we have with them, and we're very happy with the services last year. So I don't expect any issues. The fueling project, Josh, I know we're nearing the end.
Yes, we're getting pretty close to the end. So DEC has our application, our PBS application. I should be hearing back from them this week on that. From the contractor's perspective, they were waiting on the card readers, so that was their delay from their vendor. So I understand that they are in, so they will be remobilizing to the site to finish their end of the installation, and that should align pretty closely with getting the DEC permission to put product in the tank. So I don't know exactly when we'll be able to put the tank at the firehouse in service, but I expect that to be within a week or two is my guess. Then for the water sewer garage, even after the contractor is done and we have the DEC application, we still have to complete the canopy project before we can put product in that one. So we are progressing because we do have a contract for that and have materials ordered for the canopy. So everything's coming together.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yes.
That's all I have as far as items other than executive order or executive session. So anything else anyone like to add?
No.
I'd like to say for the record that the engineering department has been extremely helpful with all of the grant stuff that we've been doing lately. And I very much appreciate it. And are we meeting with Verizon after this or at 11?
Yeah, that was something I was just about to jump in. So just to give everyone an update, so Verizon is moving forward. They want to have one meeting with Matt Yetto, Josh, and Laura just to talk about the logistics of filing the applications. But they do have plans to, file before the end of the year, and then pretty aggressive plans for the first quarter. So it's exciting that we'll finally be able to see this this project, in action. So yeah, they wanted to have a call at 11:30 if that works with you guys, just to discuss logistics.
Do they have a plan of where they're going to have
Yeah,
the
I can send
power?
you the updated, yes, I can send you the updated map. It's subject to our NDA, so I can't attach it to like an agenda packet, but I'll send it to you for sure.
So are they going to be installing new poles as part of this? I know they want to try to maintain or use existing poles, but I know that in some areas there aren't poles.
I believe that the first rollout for Q1 2021 is going to be it's going to be exclusively co-locations on existing poles.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Paul Briggs?
No, other than executive session, no.
All right, we'll go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter. Otherwise, we're adjourned. We're not going to come out and do any other business. So, Matt
Are you
Ghetto,
Councilwoman,
Supervisor
you want to make
Briggs.
Denise, you want to make the motion and I'll second?
I'm going to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter.
I will second that.
Thank you, Supervisor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Thank you all. When we come out of executive session, we are going to adjourn. We are going to conduct no further business. Thank you all. Okay, so Matt Yetto, my home phone being held up for Paul Briggs, the supervisor.